This timeless classic is a fantastic combination of uniqueness, elegance, and versatility. Hello, welcome back to Seldomly Often. I'm Daniel. Today we're talking fragrances, and this is a practical review of Cartier Déclaration Parfum. These reviews are for fragrances I have a lot of experience with, multiple wears in many situations, and are meant to give you a general idea of what it feels to wear the fragrance. As per usual, despite doing a lot of research before buying fragrances, I don't really like to go into details about notes and accords, as I don't think it benefits the end user much. It's really hard to pick out notes and well-blended fragrances, and you don't really get the vibe anyway. Today we're diving into the designer world, specifically the French designer world, and we're talking about Cartier. Cartier is a very elegant French brand that has deep roots and traditions. Their fragrances are usually not seen as groundbreaking by any means, like not trendsetters specifically, but they are timeless classics. Cartier Déclaration Parfum, this one here, specifically came out 20 years after the notorious Eau de Toilette, which, by the way, I don't really have experience with. Before talking about this really good scent, because I really like it, spoiler, let's dive into the presentation. Cartier Déclaration comes in this really fugly or funky looking bottle. At first, I was a little bit put off. I was like, what the hell is this thing? It looks really weird. It stands out in your collection. If you have it on a shelf with other fragrances, it looks really off. But soon after, I guess, looking at it, using it day after day, it kind of grew on me. It has this strange 1920s idea of the future look. And if nothing else, it really stands out on the shelf. I'll give it that. And the look, I mean, it kind of grows on you. I'm not a fan of this like little holder here for the sprayer. I don't really like fragrances that don't necessarily have a cap. But I mean, I'll give it a pass. The look, in the look department, I think it's interesting nonetheless. Maybe the 50 ml would look better. This one here is really tall. And I mean, let's face it, I'm not really in any position to give tips on Cartier about style here. The sprayer on this bottle is actually really good. You have to unpin it, as mentioned, to like free it up so you can push it down. And let's give it some spritz. Yeah, beautiful sprayer. It sprays wide, it sprays a lot of juice, fairly well pressurized. It's really great. It's really easy to aim, and it's just a pleasure to use. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of a dent in here, and this is for various reasons. One, because I think it's a really good scent, actually. Very versatile, you can wear it year-round, and it works as a signature scent. I really grab it often. Second of all, it's not very potent. I tend to spray a lot, and it's inoffensive enough that if you overspray, it's really, really polite and elegant. Speaking of the scent profile, if I could summarize this for people who know, this to me is an Amouage Overture simplified. It's an easier access Amouage Overture in everything. It has sort of the same vibe going on, but it's less obnoxious, it's more approachable, more mass appealing, and way cheaper. And this would make it actually really a great complement for Amouage Overture if for the days you don't want to either use that or stand out as much. But for the people who don't know what Amouage Overture smells like, let's get into it. The opening for this is definitely spicy. I do think it's a year-round scent, and I do think that it can be worn every day, but it is definitely spicy. In the note breakdown, it's also listed as just spices. From those spices, I feel that one of the easier ones to pick out, at least in the very opening, is cumin. And the cumin makes it smell a lot like Overture, as mentioned. Also in the opening, to sort of like help tone that cumin down, again, similarly to Overture, you get this bitter citrus. In the case of Overture, you get grapefruit. In this case, you get something like a bitter orange. It's really orange smelling, like orange the color. And it's kind of almost boozy. The combination between the cumin and this orange gives it this slightly boozy vibe, but it might also be the alcohol sort of evaporating, because on the note breakdown there is no booze in here. So after this beautiful opening of this bitter orange, these warm yet fresh spices, this kind of like slightly culinary salty cumin with this sweet cardamom that gives it this really airy, warm, Middle Eastern vibe. After that, which the opening, by the way, doesn't last too long, it lasts about an hour-ish, this opening slowly starts blending into the mid, and the mid in the dry down. And the mid in the dry down, it being a French perfume, and I use the word perfume specifically because this is meant to be elegant, generic in a way that's simple, like French, but still very perfumey, not as intentional as some niche perfumes that are out there. So again, going back to that mid in the dry down, being more perfumey, tend to more of a traditional feel. So there is some woodiness in the background, there is some like sweet wood, very dry, there's some vetiver, there's some amber, and there's something that gives it a powdery feel. I'm not really sure if it's some musk, which gives it a little bit of a furry vibe, or something else. But the dry down of this sort of reminds me of a fragrance that I've had in the past that I really liked, which is the Blue Eau de Parfum from Narciso Rodriguez. I really can't remember the name. I think it's Purhomme or something like that. But it gives me that kind of feeling. So it's very clean. Despite the cumin, it gives off this really clean, classy feel. It's very grown up. This is definitely, I mean, you can tell from the bottle, and Cartier doesn't really tailor to a young audience, but this is not a youthful fragrance. This is not for kids. This is not for teenagers. This is definitely aimed at a more mature user, more mature public. Some people say that this fragrance is like super elegant, like night out elegant, like theater elegant, like opera. I think that this one here is fairly understated. It's not offensive at all. And this can be a daily wear. I don't think this is too elegant at all to be a daily wear, just because it's so subtle. As a matter of fact, I wore this as my scent of the day, and I sprayed a ton of this before going to the office. And no one said anything. It was super inoffensive and very, very elegant. And again, after that initial dry down of the harsh opening, not harsh per se, but I would say interesting opening of the cumin and the orange, this goes down to this like elegant, subtle, and just quiet elegance scent. And it's very understated in a way. It's I think it gives great impression. It's a great work scent just because it's very inoffensive, but it gives off this like aura of competence, because I mean, this is like a grown-up scent. It is like an elegant grown-up scent. So whoever wears this, well, obviously, if you're not wearing your sweatpants, it really aids as an accessory to give off that aura of like know-how, competence, and like respect. I mentioned in the intro that you can wear this year-round, and I stand by that statement. It's way fresher than you think, specifically despite being a parfum. It's really not that dense or heavy. And if you work in a temperature-controlled environment, like an office, or anywhere where you have a relatively regular temperature throughout the year, this is absolutely fine throughout the year. Would I wear this in the dead of summer outside while I'm sweating? Not really. I think that spiciness might come out a little strong, and it works well also like day or night. This could pass more as a night fragrance, but I mean, like, this is a really, really good overall signature scent that you can just purchase and use all the time. To be honest, the price of this is actually really affordable. This is like, I got this around, I think $70 or something like that. But I mean, like from 70 to $100, I think this is a terrific buy. Speaking about longevity for this, longevity and projection, I said that I spray a lot of this because it's not very strong. So the longevity, if you spray enough of this, is good. It will last you a whole workday. The projection on this is not massive, and that I feel that for this type of scent is good, because this again is an understated scent. It's quiet elegance, it's quiet luxury. So you don't really want to go around blasting people, specifically if you wear this to the office, or if you wear this outside, like when you go out in the evening at a theater or something. You don't want to really suffocate people around you. So this is a really, really great compliment for that kind of situation. And I also mentioned this is a great complementary fragrance to Overture, which I use it as such, because Overture is a beast of a fragrance. And this one here is like its subtle cousin. Subtle, cheaper cousin. So really you can keep the same vibe going, like the spiciness, the orangeness of the scent, like this ambery feeling, this warm type of signature scent, but you can alternate between like intensities with these two. I think it's a great pair. I got this in a sort of a blind buy. I didn't really know what I was expecting. I didn't even like the bottle at the time, but I sort of saw it on a marketplace for cheap. It was brand new, like a tester. I think this is a tester. It is a tester, actually. I blind bought this. I didn't even like the bottle. I figured I would just give it away if I didn't like it. But it really left a mark. I was really surprised. And this one was probably the first French perfume, being in a niche phase. This was the first one that really had me think back and kind of like reevaluate what I'm looking for. And yes, in a way, I'm still looking for that crazy, obnoxious niche perfume that has a character and that is very intentional and will give you and will be transportative and will give you a specific vibe. But on the other hand, this really made me appreciate a more subtle, a more elegant, a more understated smell. And this helped me appreciate the Maison Francis Kurkdjian fragrances a lot more. And I absolutely think that this is a timeless classic. I would argue that this is a masterpiece. I'm not really sure about reformulations. Again, given how light it is, or how much it doesn't project. It might be in its French character, or it might be due to reformulation. I don't really know. But even despite that, and considering that this could be one of the later batches, and I got this about 6 months ago and I wore a lot of it, this one still gets a very high recommendation from me. Going back to my thoughts about this, I've seen some reviews and everything, but I still was somewhat doubtful. Maybe the bottle, maybe the name, maybe the fact that it was like a French designer, but I really shouldn't have doubted Cartier. Cartier is a staple of elegance, it's a staple of French design, French innovation, and just French style. So, I mean, sorry if I doubted you, Cartier Déclaration, you're awesome. Again, thumbs up, double thumbs up for me. I hope you found this interesting and informative. I do, as usual, appreciate your time more than anything. It's not taken for granted at all. If you have any comments, suggestions, opinions, or anything, just leave it down below. I'll be sure to get back to you. I really like making these videos. I have many more to do as I have a lot of fragrance standing around. So subscribe for more. And thanks as always, and cheers.